Dvatasam Ashruvadanam Kshamam Yavasam Ichchati. Hare Krishna, please recite.
Gancha dharma tudam dinam brasham shudra padahatam vivatsa ma ashruvadanam kshamam yavasam ichchatim.
Gancha dharma tudam dinam brasham shudra padahatam vivatsam ashu vadanam kshamam yavasam ichchatim.
Gamcha dharma dugandinam drisham sudra padahatam vivatsam ashruvadanam kshamam yavasam ichchatim.
Gancha dharma dugam dinam brisham sudra padahatam vivat shamashro badanam shamam jabosh michatim.
Gamcha dharma dugam dinam prisam sutra padahatam vivatsam ashrovadanam kamam yavasam ichchatim.
Gamcha dharma dugam dinam vrisham shudra padahatam hatam vivatsam ashru vadanam kshamam yavasam ichchatim.
Gamcha dharma dugham dinam bhrisham sudra padahatam vivatsam asruvadanam kshamam yavasam ichchatim.
Anyone else wants to recite? Okay, thank you. Thank you for reciting. So, synonyms, translation, and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Synonyms: Gham, the cow; Cha, also; Dharma Dugam, beneficial because one can draw religion from her; Dhinam, now rendered poor; Brusham, distressed; Sudra, the lower caste; Pada Ahatam, beaten on the legs; Vivatsam, without any calf; Ashruvadanam, with tears in her eyes; Shamam, very weak; Yavasam, grass; Ichchatim, as if desiring to have some grass to eat. Translation: although the cow is beneficial because one can draw religious principles from her, she was now rendered poor and calfless. Her legs were being beaten by a Sudra. There were tears in her eyes, and she was distressed and weak. She was hankering after some grass in the field. Purport: the next symptom of the age of Kali is the distressed condition of the cow. Milking the cow means trying the principles of religion in a liquid form. The great rishis and munis would live only on milk. Srila Sukadeva Goswami would go to a householder while he was milking a cow, and he would simply take a little quantity of it for subsistence. Even 50 years ago, no one would deprive a sadhu of a quart or two of milk, and every householder would give milk like water. For a Sanatanist, a follower of Vedic principles, it is the duty of every householder to have cows and bulls as household paraphernalia, and not only for drinking milk, but also for deriving religious principles. The Sanatanist worships cows on religious principles and respects Brahmanas. The cow milk is required for the sacrificial fire, and by performing sacrifices, the householder can be happy. The cow's calf not only is beautiful to look at, but also gives satisfaction to the cow, and so she delivers as much milk as possible. But in the Kali Yuga, the calves are separated from the cows as early as possible for purposes which may not be mentioned in these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. The cow stands with tears in her eyes. The Sudra milkman draws milk from the cow artificially, and when there is no milk, the cow is sent to be slaughtered. These greatly sinful acts are responsible for all the troubles in present society. People do not know what they are doing in the name of economic development. The influence of Kali will keep them in the darkness of ignorance. Despite all endeavors for peace and prosperity, they must try to see the cows and the bulls happy in all respects. Foolish people do not know how one earns happiness by making the cows and bulls happy, but it is a fact by the law of nature. Let us make it from the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam and adopt the principles for the total happiness of humanity. Hare Krishna. Om Agnanati Mirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuhu Unmilitam Mena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Hare Krishna, thank you all for joining today. Before starting class, I would like to seek permission and blessings from senior Vaishnavas here, so that I can repeat the words, whatever spoken by Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara. And I completely understand this is for my purification, and please forgive me for any faults. Please forgive me if I speak anything wrong on this verse. Hare Krishna. So today we are at the 7th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, verse 3. Chapter title is Punishment and Reward of Kali. In previous chapter, when Parikshit Maharaj learned that age of Kali began to infiltrate within the jurisdiction of his state, he did not like that news. Actually declared a war against Kali, and then Maharaj Parikshit then conquered all parts of the earthly planet. And wherever the king visited, he heard the glories of his great forefathers who are the devotees of the Krishna, and also glorious acts of Lord Krishna. While Maharaj Parikshit was passing his days hearing the good occupations of his forefathers, so at a different place, Dharma, who was wandering about in the form of a bull, he met the personality of earth in the form of a cow, and they started conversing about the Kali effects, and how they are impacted in different ways. While they are in conversation, Parikshit Maharaj reached the shores of Saraswati river. And after reaching that place, Maharaj Parikshit observed that a lower caste Sudra, who dressed like a king, was beating a cow and a bull with club. So in the previous verse, yesterday we were reading, so it was mentioned, the bull was as white as white lotus flower. He was terrified of the Sudra who was beating him, and he was so afraid that he was standing on one leg, trembling and urinating. And today's verse translation. Although the cow is beneficial because one can draw religious principles from her, she was now rendered poor and calfless. Her legs were being beaten by a Sudra. There were tears in her eyes, and she was distressed and weak. She was hankering after some grass in the field. So this is today's verse in the purport. Srila Prabhupada talks about three things. One is importance of cows. And the other thing is how cows are exploited in Kali Yuga and how they are being slaughtered in Kali Yuga every day. And third one is cow protection, and by giving the cow protection, how the whole world can live happily. That is what Srila Prabhupada is going to talk about in this purport. It's a very special and heavy purport. So here the verse starts with, Gancha Dharma Dugam Dinam. So although the cow is beneficial because one can draw religious principles from her. Very interesting word here, Dharma Dugam. So one can draw religious principles from her cow. We know in Shastra, Niti Shastra, it is mentioned cow is a mother. So there are seven kinds of mothers. So according to Niti Shastra Vedic injunction, starts with Adav Mata, one real mother, one is, and then Guru Patni, the wife of a spiritual master, Brahmani, the wife of a Brahmana, Rajapatnika, wife of a king, and Dhenur, the cow is a mother, and Dhatri, earth is a mother, and Dhatri is nurse, and Tata Prithvi, earth is a mother. So there are seven mothers. So cow is a mother, and so in olden days in Vedic system, and bull is to be considered as a father because it helps producing food and maintenance, and even because without cow and bull being united, there is no milk. So the bull is considered as father and cow is considered as a mother. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions here, the next symptom of the age of Kali is the distressed condition of the cow. So milking the cow means drawing the principles of religion in a liquid form. So this is a very wonderful thing. So milking the cow means drawing the principles of religion in a liquid form. And I would like to ask a quick question here. What kind of religious principles we can draw from a cow? So some things Srila Prabhupada mentioned here. What kind of religious principles we can draw from a cow? If you would like to add quickly. there are some things Srila Prabhupada already mentioned in the purport. So here the great rishis and munis would live on a milk. Srila Prabhupada mentioned great rishis and munis would live on a milk. So Srila Sukadeva Goswami would go to a householder while he was milking a cow, and he would simply take a little quantity of it for substance. So these are the religious principles that we can draw from a cow. Like drinking the milk of a cow, our finer tissues of brain can be purified. Ahara Suddhi, Sattva Suddhi. So when our sattva is purified, we can get inclined to spiritual upliftment. We can get inclined to spiritual life. So the cow's milk is very, very, very important. So in Vedic system, the great rishis and munis would live only on milk. Srila Sukadeva Goswami would go to a householder while he was milking a cow. So Srila Sukadeva Goswami, he used to go to a householder place, and he used to stay only for the time of milking a cow. Go dohana matra. Dohana means milking. So he used to stay only for the time of milking a cow, and he will drink the milk and he will go. So he used to live on the milk. So milk is such a miraculous food given by the cow. And next, it is mentioned, even 50 years ago, no one would deprive a sadhu a quart or two of milk, and every householder would give milk like water. So, yeah, everyone, even 50 years back in India, everyone used to maintain a cow. Even my grandfather, they used to have a cow. So no one was deprived of milk. Even if a sadhu arrives, they would give them milk like a water. Even 50 years back, that's what Srila Prabhupada mentioned. And for a Sanatanist, a follower of Vedic principles, it is the duty of every householder to have cows and bulls as household paraphernalia, not only for drinking milk, but also for deriving religious principles. So, maintaining a cow is not only for drinking. Srila Prabhupada says it is for deriving religious principles. We can derive religious principles. We can maintain dharma by maintaining a cow. Here in the verse it is mentioned dharma dhugam. So one can draw religious principles from the cow. So the Sanatanish worships cows and religious principles and respects Brahmanas. So the cow's milk is required for the sacrificial fire, and by performing the sacrifices, the householder can be happy. So, if cows are maintained, the Brahminical culture can be maintained. In some other purport, Srila Prabhupada says, if we maintain the cows, by maintaining cows, we can maintain the Brahminical culture. And if without Brahminical culture, aim of life cannot be fulfilled. So, how the cow's maintenance helps to maintain the Brahminical culture, we'll discuss. So, here it is mentioned in the purport, the cow's ghee is required for the sacrificial fire. So, without cow ghee, ghrutam, cow ghee, so the yagnas cannot be performed. So, the cow ghee is needed for sacrificial fire. So, to maintain this Brahminical culture, the cow is needed. The cow must be maintained. So, as we already discussed, the great rishis and munis would live only on milk. And also, we know the cow, like there is a Panchagavya. Pancha means 5, Gavya, Ga means cow. Yeah, so it is which comes from the cow. All these products, Panchagavya, which is used to bathe the deity. So the ingredients of this Panchagavya are like milk, cow's milk, yogurt, ghee, cow urine, and cow dung. These 5 are the ingredients for this Panchagavya. Like when Madhavendra Puri in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when he excavated Gopalji deity in Govardhana Hill with the help of the village people, so they immediately performed a snana ceremony. So for the deity, so in that snana ceremony, they used this Panchagavya to bathe the deity. So all these cow products, these 5 things. So this cow urine and cow dung is used to bathe the deity. So then we can imagine how important the cow is, how important to maintain the cow to nourish our spiritual life, to derive the religious principles. And also in the same pastime of bathing the Gopalji deity, so they used Panchamrita. So this Panchamrita is also mostly made of with cow products, like this Panchamrita. Amrita means nectar. This 5 kinds of nectar. They consist of yogurt, cow's yogurt, cow milk, and cow ghee, and to make it more palatable, sugar and honey are added. So this Panchamrita is also used to bathe the deity. So the cows are very, very important to derive the religious principles. And cow is also a sattvic animal. It is in mode of goodness. So if we are with cow, we can. It is understood that we can develop sattvic qualities. We can develop mode of goodness. So the cow is very, very important. So in our while offering bhoga, we read this sloka, this mantra, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. So the Lord Krishna, who is the well-wisher of cows and brahmanas, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. So the cow is very, very important. And also to understand the cow is important. So Lord Krishna performed a Leela in 10th canto. So we all know, when we read Krishna book, we see when after Krishna killed the Putana, and Krishna was on the lap of a Putana, and he was crawling, and Mother Yashoda and Mother Rohini and other elderly gopis, they came there. They were very concerned about Krishna, and anyone remembered what did they do immediately as soon as they see the Krishna and Putana's dead body?
Did they sprinkle cow urine on him?
Yes, Mother. Yeah. So first, they did 3 things. First, they took the cow's tail, Gopucha. So they took the cow's tail and they circumambulated throughout around his body. First thing, that's what they did, Gopucha Brahmana. So they circumambulated tail of a cow, and then they washed Krishna's transcendental body with the urine of a cow. Go mutrena snapayitva. So they washed completely the body of the Krishna with the urine of a cow. See how transcendental the cow urine is, and the dust created, and then what they did is Goduli, they took Goduli, Go Rajasa. So they took that, and the dust created by the hoofs of the cows was thrown all over his body. And then they took the cow dung and they smeared the cow dung over the body, beginning with the forehead, as done in applying tilak. In this way, they thought they are giving protection to Krishna. So they bathed Krishna with cow urine, and they have thrown the cow dust, the dust created by the cow's hooves, on the body of Krishna, and they smeared cow dung over the body of Krishna. So this was all done just to save little Krishna from future inauspicious accidents. So this incident gives us clear indication how important the cow is to the family, society, and to living beings in general. Of course, the transcendental body of Krishna did not require any protection, but to instruct us on the importance of the cow, so the Lord was smeared over with cow dung and washed with urine of a cow and sprinkled with the dust upraised by the walking of the cows. So this is the importance of cow. And actually all these cow products, they have very good, like cow's ghee, cow milk, cow yogurt, and cow urine and cow dung. All these have a lot of medicinal values, especially cow milk and yogurt and ghee. They have a lot of nutrients, vitamins. They can help to take care of a lot of medical ailments. And even cow urine, so it has a lot of medicinal values. In India, there was one, I think, politician used to drink cow milk every day. He lived more than 100 years. His name was Morarji Dasa, if I remember correctly. So he used to drink cow milk every day. So it has a lot of values. Even cow dung, Srila Prabhupada says it has antiseptic properties, cow dung. And in Ayurveda, this cow dung is dried, and it is made as a tooth powder, and so people used to use it like a tooth powder. The cow dung has antiseptic properties. So all these cow products are very, very special and very useful to the human society. And now we come to the second part of the purport, the actually middle part of the purport. Here now, Srila Prabhupada talks about the cow's exploitation and cow slaughtering. So the cow's calf not only is beautiful to look at, but also gives satisfaction to the cow. And so she delivers as much milk as possible. But in the Kali Yuga, calves are separated from the cows as early as possible for purposes which may not be mentioned in these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is what happening in Kali Yuga. The cow, by seeing the calf, it feels so joyful. It gives actually more milk. But nowadays, what's happening? The calves are separated from the cows as early as possible. Actually, if there is a calf, actually cow produces more milk, additional milk for the purpose of calf. But nowadays, sometimes what happens in the Kali Yuga, people take away the calf so that they think that they can milk more milk from the cow. That's what happening. So in Kali Yuga, these calves are separated from the cows as early as possible for purposes which may not be mentioned in these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the cows, going to the purport, the cow stands with tears in her eyes. The Sudra milkman draws milk from the cow artificially, and when there is no milk, the cow is sent to be slaughtered. So we know how the milk is, how the cow is milked nowadays. It is completely done in an artificial way. They put some machine to the teats of a cow. Sometimes it is very painful process for the cow, and they milk the cow. So Srila Prabhupada says they are the Sudra men. Sudra man draws milk from the cow artificially by using machines. They use machines to milk the cow. It's very painful process. When there is no milk, the cow is sent to be slaughtered. So the cow is, so when they think that there is no use of cow, they immediately send it to slaughtering house. That's what happening in Kali Yuga. So these great sinful acts are responsible for all troubles in present society. So this is a very heavy statement. So these great sinful acts are responsible for all the troubles in present society. So whatever is happening in the current society, like pandemic and wars and everything, feminine. So these are all because the people are, so many animals, especially cows, have been slaughtered every day. I just wanted to share some statistics here. I just wanted to show, this is a cow milking machine. So this is how they milk the cow. This is a very painful process for a cow. Very, very painful process. So, and coming to the animal slaughter every day. So I just, there is a website, Animal Kill Clock. This is, animals have been killed for food this year in the United States. Especially cattle, the cows, bulls, oxen. So 36 million of the cattle have been slaughtered till day to day in the year 2023. And so worldwide, billions of animals slaughtered every year. This is World Economic Forum website. So almost 1.5 billion cows have been slaughtered every year throughout world. So the other animals are also there. That is also not good to kill. So chickens 19 billion, sheep 1 billion, and pigs. So a lot of animals have been slaughtered. And actually this meat production costs the earth. So meat farming produces much higher emissions per calorie than vegetables. So beef is by far the worst culprit, 4 times higher than the chicken or pork. So the beef is the worst culprit. It produces higher emissions. And also they realize, like some nowadays, they know that this too much meat is bad for the health, but still the people are inclined to eat meat because meats are high in saturated fats that can rise cholesterol, and eating too much red and processed meat has been linked to bowel cancer and a lot of other things. So, but still, so many cows have been slaughtered every day. So that is what Srila Prabhupada says. These greatly sinful acts are responsible for all the troubles in the present society. So people do not know what they are doing in the name of economic development. They do not know what they are doing in the name of economic development. And then, the influence of Kali will keep them in darkness of ignorance. And then Srila Prabhupada talks about how we can give the cow protection, like how the cow protection makes the whole human society happy. So despite all endeavors for peace and prosperity, they must try to see the cows and the bulls happy in all respects. We must see the cows and bulls happy in all respects. That is the responsibility of everyone, especially being a devotee. We have to make every effort to protect the cows. Even Krishna emphasized this, the importance of protecting cows in Bhagavad Gita. Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam Vaisya Karma Sabhavajam. Farming, cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas. So we have to Goraksha. We have to protect the cows because the cows are very dear to Krishna. So what we can do as a devotee, because there are so many bad things are happening, so many cows have been slaughtered every day, are being slaughtered every day. So what we can do is we can connect with our local temples, ISKCON temples, and see if we can adopt a cow or donate some money to maintain Goshala, to maintain cows and protect cows. So we can do according to our capacity to maintain and protect cows, so which are very dear to Krishna. And also there is a lot of outside world, there is a lot of veganism, which is on rise. So these vegan people, they are also trying to avoid all the animal products. So they are also trying to reduce the demand for the animal products. So then Srila Prabhupada says in part, but foolish people don't know how one earns happiness by making the cows and bulls happy. So, but it is a fact by the law of nature. So by making the cow and bulls happy, the mother and father, so one can be happy. We can, and then Srila Prabhupada says, let us take it from the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam and adopt the principles for the total happiness of humanity. So the protecting the cow and bull makes the total, like the total humanity very happy. So as we discussed, so actually the Lord in other purport, 8.24.5, Krishna says, Srila Prabhupada mentions, Lord Krishna appeared, actually purposefully appeared in the Nanda Maharaj, like he was transferred to Nanda Maharaj, and he was there, he purposefully became a cowherd boy, Srila Prabhupada says, and he showed personally how to give protection to the cows and calves. And so these are the Lord's personal activities. So he wanted to show the whole humanity how important the cow is. And so that is why Lord is therefore described as Go Brahmana Hitayacha. So he is a well-wisher of cow and Brahmanas. So the cows are very dear to Krishna because Krishna's name is Gopal. So he's the protector of cows. He is the Govinda. So he's the pleasure giver to the cows. So, and his abode is Gokul. His abode is planet of cows. So as Srila Prabhupada said, so by protecting cows and bulls, we can bring happiness to whole human society. So if we can make whatever effort that we can to protect and maintain cows, Krishna will be happy. So I'll stop here. Please let me know for any comments, reflections, questions, corrections. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yep. Hare Krishna, Vishnu Gada
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu,
Yeah.
Sesapati Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Maybe you've heard it sometimes. Sometimes people say that the cows that are there here in the United States are not real cows. Have you heard this before? And that because in the scriptures there's certain symptoms of a real cow, and so that the real cows, the cows here are not real. What would you have to say about that?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. I have also read, but I don't know the scriptural authenticity. There must be there. It must be there somewhere. So yes, they said the cows in India, they have with like a high hunchback. They are the kind of real cows, and that cow's milk is very pure and something I have read somewhere, Prabhuji, but I don't have any authentic information to add on this one.
I wonder if others might have some input on that.
I did not, cows here are not real cows, but no matter what, they are living entities. So at least for that reason, it should be unacceptable to use them for any other purpose other than for getting milk. I hear now the only thing that I have heard is that they call it A2 milk. That is supposed to be milk that tastes like in India, but they're living entities, so they shouldn't be killed. That's my only thought.
Anybody else have a input on that idea or issue? It's a big deal because it's quoting from some ISKCON sources. I've read that politicians in India making the difference between Western cows and Indian cows have used that to justify the slaughter of hybrid cows. There are many hybrid cows that are Western or Western Indian cows that way. For one, Srila Prabhupada never distinguished that. He didn't say, oh, these cows, no, we have to get cows from India. They could get cows from India, but they didn't get cows from India. Prabhupada never distinguished between Western cows and Indian cows. He was very happy when New Vrindavan bought their first cow, and also when he visited Gita Nagari and they had all those a herd of brown Swiss cows. He was very happy, even though some people will say, well, those cows aren't like the Indian cows, but he didn't give credence to that. There's arguments that those people who quote the certain passages in scriptures about the symptoms of cows are actually misconstruing and mistranslating those to bolster their arguments, and it's really not at all correct to say that. So there's a couple of articles in case I think I have one somewhere about that. So to debunk the idea that the Western cows aren't real cows. So yes, it is okay to maintain them, and Krishna will be pleased if you maintain them, if you feed them, and offer their milk products to Lord Krishna, either in his deity form or in the form of the fire, and then appreciate the remnants. Lord Chaitanya also said, when he was speaking with the Chandkazi, he said, what kind of religion is it that kills the father and mother? That was a big deal. He said that was one of his opening statements. What kind of religion is it that kills your father and mother? The cow is your mother and the bull is your father. So those things. So if you have your mother and she gets old and is a little bit difficult to maintain, so kill her, right?
Yeah, it's a very precarious situation. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your inputs. Hare Krishna. So today, so Madhavendra Puri Disappearance Day. I would like to add something on that as well. So great Mahabhagavata. So we were discussing about Srila Ishvara Puri's Disappearance Day 2 weeks back. And today Ekadasi is mixed with Govinda Dvadashi. So Govinda Dvadashi is Tidhi of his disappearance. And we all know, so Dash Madhavendra Puri, he is the spiritual master of Srila Ishvara Puri and Sri Advaita Acharya. So we know Srila Ishvara Puri was the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Madhavendra Puri has a very, very great importance in this Gaudiya Madhva Vaishnava Sampradaya. And we will discuss a little bit about it today. Let me share my screen. Srila Kavidas Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says in Chaitanya Charitamrita 9.11. So Sri Ishvara Puri Rupe Ankura Pushtahaila Apane Chaitanya Malis Khanda Upajila. So the translation, the seed of devotional service. Sorry, let me go to the previous verse. So Adilila 9.10. So he says, Jaya Sri Madhavendra Puri Krishna Prema Pura Bhakti Kalpa Tarura Tenho Pratama Ankura. So this Madhavendra Puri, all glories to Sri Madhavendra Puri, is the storehouse of all devotional service unto Krishna. So Krishna Prema Pura. So he is the storehouse of all love of Godhead. And Bhakti Kalpa Tarura. So he is the deity of devotional service. And it is in him that the devotional service, seed of devotional service first fructified. Pradama Ankura. So, and we'll come to the purport and going to the next verse. And then the next verse, the translation, the seed of devotional service next fructified in the form of Srila Ishvara Puri, Sri Ishvara Puri. And then the gardener himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, became the main trunk of the tree of devotional service. So the Sri Madhavendra Puri, he is the seed. It is in him the seed of devotional service first fructified. Srila Madhavendra Puri. In Adilila 9.10 purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions Sri Madhavendra Puri, also known as Sri Madhava Puri. So he belonged to the disciplic succession from Madhvacharya and was greatly celebrated sannyasi. Let me share my screen. And yeah, he belonged to the disciplic succession from Madhvacharya and was greatly celebrated sannyasi. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the third disciplic descendant from Sri Madhavendra Puri. So the process of worship in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya was full of ritualistic ceremonies. So this is a very important thing. The process of worship in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya was full of ritualistic ceremonies with hardly a sign of love of Godhead. So Sri Madhavendra Puri was the first person in the disciplic succession to exhibit the symptoms of love of Godhead. and the first to write a poem beginning with the words of Ayadina Dayadranada, O supremely merciful personality of Godhead. So in that poem is the seed of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cultivation of love of Godhead. So it is the Sri Madhavendra Puri who introduced this Prema Bhakti to the Madhvacharya Sampradaya. So that is the seed of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cultivation of love of Godhead. So he brought this Prema, Krishna Prema Bhakti to the Madhva Sampradaya. Then that is why so he is very important in this Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya line. So his spiritual master was Lakshmipati, Madhavendra Puri's spiritual master. He was from Madhva Sampradaya, and then he got initiated in the Madhva Sampradaya. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 4, it completely talks about Sri Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. We will try to cover little on this one, and then we'll stop there. It is mentioned in his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya, Srila Bhakti Vinoda Thakura gives the following summary of the 4th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. The chapter title itself is Sri Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. Very wonderful chapter. And passing along the path of Chatrabhoga and coming to Rudra Mantreshwara, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached the border of Orissa. And on his way, he enjoyed transcendental bliss by chanting and begging alms in different villages. So in this way, he reached the celebrated village of Remuna. It is in Orissa. So where there is a deity of Gopinatha, Kshirachora Gopinath, that deity is there. There, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu narrated the story of Madhavendra Puri as he heard it from his spiritual master Ishvara Puri. And I'll quickly read that narration. The narration is as follows. Once Sri Madhavendra Puri traveled to Vrindavan, where he came upon the hill known as Govardhana, and he took bath in Govinda Kund there, and he then sat beneath a tree to take his rest. And while he was sitting under the tree, a unknown cowherd boy came with a pot of milk and placed it before Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri, he asked Madhavendra Puri to drink that milk. And actually Madhavendra Puri followed a system that he would not beg for a food. If someone offers him, he will eat. If no one offers, he wouldn't eat. So that is a Paramahamsa stage. He was following Ayachita Vritti. So Ayachita means not begging. And then Madhavendra Puri asked, who are you and where do you reside? And finally he took that milk, he drank it. And then the boy went away. So, and then in that night, a dream, Madhavendra Puri saw the same boy. So he was a Krishna himself. And he told him there is a Govinda deity in the bushes. And he said, Krishna said, I reside in that bush, and because of this, I suffer very much from severe cold and rain and showers, winds and scorching heat. So he asked him to construct a temple. Then Madhavendra Puri, he calls out all the village people there, and he excavates that Govinda's deity. And then he does all the ceremonies. They bathe the deity, and they start. They perform a lot of things, like they perform Annakuta ceremony, and they distribute prasadam, and then sorry, this is Gopalji deity. So no, sorry, I was just confusing. So this is a Gopal deity. So he then established the deity of Sri Gopal on top of Govardhana hill. So then the Gopal was worshipped, and the Annakuta festival was observed. So this festival was known everywhere. And then many people came, and like that, Madhavendra Puri, he established a Gopalji deity on the Govardhana hill. And then one night again, Gopal deity again appeared to Madhavendra Puri in his dream, and he asked him to go to Jagannath Puri to collect some sandalwood pulp and smear it on the body of the deity. So then Madhavendra Puri immediately started for Orissa, and while on his way, Madhavendra Puri, he came to the place called Remuna, so where the Gopinath deity was there, and where he saw the pujari was offering condensed milk to the deity, and he thought, okay, he was asking about that prasadam, that boga, how that is made and how it is offered, and that is a sweet rice which is made in 12 earthen pots. So because the taste is as good as nectar, amrita, it is called amrita keli. So, and then Madhavendra Puri thought, okay, if without my asking a little sweet rice is given to me, I can then taste it and make a similar preparation to offer my Lord Gopala in Vrindavan. Then he thought, oh, immediately got ashamed, and because he thought, he desired to taste the sweet rice before being it offered to the Krishna. Then he left that place, and on the same day, after the deity put down to the rest by the priest, that deity Gopinath came in the dream of the priest, and he tells the priest that, okay, I have stolen this sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri, and he says, the deity says, I have kept it behind the cloth curtain. Please go and give it to the Madhavendra Puri. Then that priest will go and give that sweet rice, which is stolen by Gopinath himself, and give it to the Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri, at once he become absorbed in ecstatic love of Krishna. So since then, that Gopinath is famous as Kshira Chora Gopinath. So who stole the Kshira, the sweet rice for his devotees, he is known as Kshira Chora Gopinath. The sweet rice made with condensed milk. So then after reaching Jagannath Puri, Madhavendra Puri, he collected the mound of sandalwood, and he actually, that sandalwood was like a 40 kilos of sandalwood, like that. It is so valuable, and he had to bring it from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan. It was very difficult task because there were Muslim kings ruling on those days, and it was very difficult to pass through. But with the help of two people, and he started carrying that 40 kilos of sandalwood, and he carried it through the provinces. And he never felt that it's a burden for him. So because he was doing it for the pleasure of Krishna, he never felt that. He was experiencing the pleasure. So without considering any personal comforts, so he did that. And finally, he brought it to Vrindavan, and he applied that sandalwood to the Gopalji deity. And so after reading this whole pastime, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became so ecstatic. He narrated this pastime to all his associates, and even Nityananda Prabhu was there. And then after saying this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read the famous verse of Madhavendra Puri, That verse is just like the moon. It is mentioned like that verse is like a Kaustubha Muni, considered the most precious of valuable stones. So this verse is considered the best of poems. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. And he says this verse was spoken by Srimad Radharani herself, and by her mercy only was it manifest in the words of Madhavendra Puri. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recites the verse like it is like this. Ayadina dayadhanadahe madhuranada kada avalokashe hrudyam tvad aloka kataram dhaita brahmaheti kim karomi aham. O my Lord, O most merciful Master, O Master of Madhura, when shall I see you again because of my not seeing you? My agitated heart has become unsteady. O most beloved one, what shall I do now? So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited this verse, he immediately fell to the ground unconscious. He was overwhelmed and had no control over himself. So that like Sri Madhavendra Puri, he expressed these ecstatic feelings in this verse, especially the Vipralamba Bhava. And so that is what followed in this Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya as the topmost devotional service to the Lord, like ecstatic feelings of Srimati Radharani, and that the separation from Krishna. So the whole thing was like this Prema Bhakti was introduced by Madhavendra Puri. And so we are so indebted. So I am so insignificant, and I know I'm not at all qualified to speak on Madhavendra Puri. So by Krishna's mercy, by completely because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercy, I got this chance to speak on him. I spoke whatever little I could do. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong. So whoever hears the narration of this Madhavendra Puri's devotional service with faith and devotion attain the treasure of love of Godhead at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. That is what mentioned on Chaitanya Charitamrita at the end of the chapter. So with that, I'll stop here. Sorry for taking more time today. Hare Krishna. Please let me know for any comments, corrections, reflections, questions.
Just a small point of clarification is that the sandalwood pulp, it was revealed to Madhavendra Puri that he should actually put it on the Gopinath deity. So he didn't bring it all the way back to Vrindavan for the Gopal deity. It was revealed to him
your
that
voice
he
is
should
breaking.
then put it on that deity, and then he would also be. Oh, okay.
He was trying to say that he didn't bring it all the way. He was asked to apply it to Gopinath deity, the sandalwood pulp.
Okay, Bruce. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for both the speaking on the verse and also about Madhavendra Puri. Hopefully we will all be blessed with a little bit of that love of Godhead.
Okay. Yeah.
So we will meet everybody again tomorrow morning at 7:50. Thank you again, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarvasya kripa sindhubhaya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaः.